At the turn of the 20th century, the British Empire ruled the mountains of northern India, a world of tea plantations, dense sal forests, and remote villages bound by jungle paths. Life here moved slowly until something changed the rhythm. In the space of 12 years, over 400 people were killed by a single animal. Entire valleys emptied. The government offered gold for its death. Armies failed. It wasn't a plague or a war. It was one wounded tigress, smart enough to outthink every man sent to kill her. This is her story, and the man who ended it. For years, she had lived deep in the jungles of western Nepal, a wounded tigress surviving on the edge of starvation. A hunter's bullet had shattered her jaw, leaving her unable to kill deer or boar. Desperate, she turned to the only prey she could still catch: people. The first victims were woodcutters and herdsmen traveling through the dense forest paths near Nepal and Dang. Bodies were found half buried under leaves, sometimes miles from where the attacks began. Fear spread faster than fire. Villages emptied overnight. Crops were left to rot in the fields. By 1899, the Nepalese authorities had counted nearly 200 dead. The government ordered a military expedition to end it, a campaign unlike anything the region had seen. Hundreds of soldiers, joined by local volunteers, fanned out across the jungle in a massive beat, a coordinated drive hunt meant to flush the predator into the open. She slipped through it. Moving by night, she crossed the Sharda River, the natural border between Nepal and India. Behind her lay 200 bodies and a legend that refused to die. Ahead of her stretched the Himalayan district, a vast, rugged landscape of ridges and ravines, of quiet villages connected by narrow trails and bamboo valleys. There, she began again. At first, the killings seemed random: a woman fetching water, a child gathering wood. But the pattern soon became clear. She hunted only humans, always alone, always without warning. By 1903, more than 400 were dead. Fires burned through the night, and families built watchtowers to keep her from dragging their children away. To the British, she was the Champawat man-eater. To the villagers, she was Bogni, the spirit of the jungle, a ghost wearing stripes. Word of the killings traveled fast, from the villages of Kumaon to the district officers in Nainital, and finally to the British provincial government. They sent soldiers, trackers, even bounty hunters. None returned successful. Some vanished entirely. The tigress seemed untouchable. By 1907, the killings had become a matter of colonial record, a national embarrassment for the British Raj. The governor's office needed someone who could finish what the army could not. That man was Edward James Corbett, known to the locals simply as Carpet Sahib. Born and raised in the Himalayan foothills, he spoke Hindustani fluently and could read the jungle like a map. He had grown up among the forests and rivers where tigers roamed, learning to track by instinct, following a bent blade of grass, a fresh print and soft earth, a silence that felt too deliberate. Corbett wasn't a soldier or a professional hunter. He was a railway employee, a quiet man who preferred solitude and the company of animals to people. But his reputation had spread after several successful hunts for man-eaters in nearby districts. When others failed, Corbett was the one they called. He agreed to take on the Champawat Tigress, but only under two conditions: that the government withdraw all other hunters from the area, and that the bounty on her head be cancelled. He didn't want glory. He wanted peace restored to the hills he considered home. Corbett began his hunt in the lower valleys of Champawat. He went alone, carrying a single .275 Rigby rifle and the weight of the province's hope. Everywhere he went, he found evidence of panic. Villages had built barricades of thorn and bamboo. People refused to leave their homes after sunset. He followed reports of attacks from one settlement to the next. Each site told the same story: a single leap, one set of tracks, and a drag mark leading into darkness. It was as if the tigress was watching him, testing him. She seemed to know when he was near. Corbett recorded that even the birds fell silent when he entered the places she had hunted. The tigress had struck again, this time near the village of Chatar, just outside Champawat. Her victim was a 16-year-old girl gathering firewood by the river. The attack happened in daylight. When villagers found the blood trail, it led into a deep ravine choked with vines and stones. Jim Corbett arrived hours later. He followed the trail on foot, one man against the jungle. Each turn revealed signs of the struggle. He tracked her for nearly 5 hours through the Saul forest, listening for every rustle and call. As dusk fell, the trail ended at a steep gorge below the bridge. He knew she was close. Corbett returned to the village and gathered 200 locals. They formed a beat line, shouting and striking tin cans to drive her out. The sound rolled through the valley like thunder. For an hour, nothing. Then, movement. A flash of orange between the trees. She broke cover, charging toward him through the undergrowth. Corbett raised his .27.5 Rigby rifle. The first shot missed. The tigress veered left, closing the distance in seconds. He fired again. The second bullet struck her spine mid-leap. She collapsed only meters away. The jungle fell silent. After 12 years and 400 deaths, the hunt was over. Corbett approached slowly, rifle lowered. In that moment, there was no triumph, only exhaustion and silence. He knelt beside her and began his examination. The body measured 9 feet, 8 inches from nose to tail. When Corbett opened her jaw, he saw the truth. The right upper canine was broken in half, the left shattered at the root. Both injuries from an old bullet wound. She had been forced to hunt the only prey she could overpower: humans. Every attack had been an act of survival, not malice. Corbett wrote later, "The wound that had made her a man-eater was not of her own making." He ordered her remains to be taken to Champawat for examination before burial. The government later recorded 436 confirmed deaths. The locals believed the number was higher. A small stone marker was placed near the Chatar Bridge, the site where she fell. It stands there still, a memorial not of victory, but of consequence. As Corbett left the valley, the jungle seemed to exhale for the first time in years. But the experience had changed him. He would never hunt the same way again. Jim Corbett returned home a hero, though he never saw himself as one. He had ended 12 years of terror, but the victory left a shadow. In his diary, he wrote that the tigress was not evil, only broken. Her wounds had turned her into a killer, and in killing her, he had ended both her suffering and her punishment. It was a truth that would stay with him for the rest of his life. Over the next 3 decades, Corbett tracked and killed other man-eaters across northern India. But with every hunt, his admiration for these animals deepened. He saw them as victims of deforestation, human expansion, and old wounds. Creatures caught between survival and extinction. By the 1930s, Corbett laid down his rifle for good. He began photographing the same animals he once pursued, writing books to change how people saw them. His stories, Man-Eaters of Himalayan, the Temple Tiger, Jungle Lore, would go on to inspire a new respect for India's wildlife. When India gained independence, his name was given to its first national park, Jim Corbett National Park, a sanctuary for the tigers he had once hunted. It was his final act of redemption, proof that fear and empathy can share the same footprint. He ensured that her kind would never vanish the same way she lived, misunderstood. Because every creature, no matter how feared, leaves a mark, and every story leaves a trace. This is Echo Archive. Until next time.